welcome to Fitch Paint Repairs Garage. Today's project, we're going to go back into the carburetors on the 1986 Honda Shadow. This is a VT700c. We just completed a carburetor cleaning and replaced the diaphragms on the slides on the carburetor. Two carburetor system on the bike, and during bench testing and whatnot and slow speed testing, the bike performed great. But once I got it put back together enough to take it out on the highway, or at least out on the open road and accelerate, normally it just felt like it was towing a boat anchor, no snappy throttle response like the bike normally has. So we're going to go back into it, and the reason being that I suspect the diaphragms are the problem is because I followed this online tutorial on how to change the diaphragms and purchased a set of diaphragms, but it seems like they forgot a key element in the repair, and when I put it back together, I kind of suspected it was going to be a problem, and I got to pull the carbs back off to verify what the problem is. But since I have ordered a new set, wow, this particular machine, anything to do with the carburetors, basically air intake and all that stuff, key components, are really hard to find, and they only made them for like a 2-year period, 86 and 87 for this machine, and you just can't get those parts anymore. And I was specifically looking to replace the slide, piston slide, vacuum slide for the carburetor with the diaphragm already installed, because the key element that they forgot to give me, or I can't seem to find a part number or anything like that. If any of you out there know where to get these, let me know. So I couldn't get the 86 version with the slide and the diaphragm already installed because they say it's unique, and I think I know the reason. So I ordered one from a set of 83 through 85, and what is missing off the kit that I bought originally, so you can't, all you can get is this rubber piece, the diaphragm replaced. And the tutorial suggested that you snip this ring and you snip this ring and you remove it, take the diaphragm off, put the new one on. Never once recommended replacing these or provided part number or send them as part of the kit, which I found quite ridiculous. And so basically I had this rubber piece on the piston but nothing holding it. And so if you look in here, see the holes? That's not a hole, that's like a little divot. And then the needle for the main jet, the jet needle is in there, right there in the center, and then you have your vacuum lift hole. And I believe the main difference on the 83 through 85 and the 86 and 87 one is that lift hole, there's actually 2 holes. There's one right next to it, and so I think that's the main difference. But these plastic clips that sandwich the diaphragm onto that is what I'm missing on that. Now the guy on the video just put it on and said, oh, just seated in that little tiny groove. Well, there's not a little tiny groove on that particular set of pistons, so I'm hoping that the pistons are the same diameter, same length. And if it's just the one hole vacuum, that's the problem, then we're just going to see. Now, I did extensive researching trying to find the 86, 87 vacuum piston and what the difference is, and trying to find the measurements and all that. I could find the measurements on one set of slides, but I couldn't find the factory measurements online, so I have to pull it apart. And I figured, for the price, and in the future I might be working on these, that I just go ahead and purchase it. So this is an 83 through 85 vacuum piston slide set. And then in my research I had found that an 86 1100 Shadow shares one of the part numbers for the vacuum slide. Now there's 2 part numbers, and you can buy the carburetors individually or as a set, and they're very expensive. So I did a bunch of research and cross-checking, knowing that the Honda carburetors are very similar throughout their models. Just like on a Harley Davidson, you know, you have one kind of carburetor, but there's multiple part numbers for those things. But you go to any swap meet and get one, you know, and mount it on, as long as it's the right diameter on the throat where it mounts to the spigot, you know, on the manifold. So I bought another set, 1100, and this one actually came with the screws to replace as well. Now, the rubber on the other one seems a little more substantial. This one seems a little bit flimsier, I would say. But this is the one for the 86 1100. And literally they look identical. You know, hold them up to each other, they seem identical, same diameter, you know, and everything. So, oh hey, this one looks like it's got a little damage spot on the slide. That's not good. I don't know if that shows up on the video, but yeah, you can see it right there. Huh. Guess these are reconditioned, not new old stock. That's not good. Dang it. Yeah, that's definitely not new. Shoot. Alright, let's check the other diaphragm and see what its condition is. Yep, so they seem to be the same, so I'm going to have to pull the carburetors and get in there and try to figure out which set of these, or if these are identical, I'll have a spare set. But as we've covered in other videos, the process for removing the carburetors on this particular machine is quite involved. Seat, battery, upper tank, there's a lower tank in this. Underneath these side covers, electronics, and the tank is underneath the seat. So we got to take these covers off, seat, tank, right and left exhaust, and this foot peg assembly, the rear brake armature, and the radiator, gooseneck, these up in here, and then we got to take out the upper motor mount and this motor mount assembly. This part of the frame disconnects and comes off, and then we got to lower the engine, and it drops just slightly like that and rotates, and so it's easier to get this out. And so we're going to take it down to where we can get this out easily, because them upper boots you can't get are damaged on mine, and every time I have to take the carburetors off, they get a little more damage. So I'm gonna have to come up with something. If anybody out there knows where I can get a replacement, it's the top intake boot to airbox assembly. There's two spigots that hang down off the lower upper backbone on this machine. It's tube B air cleaner connecting 17257 tack M Michael K Kilo Michael Kilo 7 tack 000 17257 tack Michael Kilo 7 tack 000, and they're unavailable. And it's two boots that come off the spigot and mount to the top of the carburetor assembly, and it has an external air box over on the left side, and the backbone of this bike is a hollow tube. It's an air tuner for the machine. Big pain in the butt. So we're gonna start tearing this machine down, and we're gonna go through it, and we're gonna see which set of these diaphragms fixes it. Hopefully one of them or both of them are the same as the originals that are in it. Stay tuned. When we get it pulled apart, I'll make another update.